now Jeter, who was a part owner, right?
Well, he sold his interest. He
I
had
know.
4%.
Part owner, CEO, the whole thing, and running the baseball operation, and decides he doesn't want to do it anymore for a team that I know they didn't have a great year last year, but 2 years ago looked like a little bit of an up and comer. Had a little bit of a down year, but they got a lot of young talent.
Right.
I was stunned by the move, to be honest with you. I'm hoping that means he's coming back to the Yankees in some capacity. I don't know what it would mean.
Yeah.
But I was stunned by it. I didn't expect that to happen at all. It didn't seem like something that was important, unless he's really turned off by the ownership and the way that they're acting toward the players on this. I'm thinking there might be something a little deeper.
Well, you know what? You have to look at it this way. Jeter comes in and he trades Giancarlo Stanton to the Yankees, and basically cleans house. Everybody that's even got a little bit of ability, but they want to get paid, gets kicked out. And everybody's looking at him and saying, you suck. I can't believe you did this to us. And as a person who loves baseball, as much as you hate to see a team do that, that's what the successful franchises did to get themselves back to a success, except for Baltimore. And they'll never be successful. But
Jeffrey Mayer just took the spirit out of that team.
Yeah. But anyway, what we're hearing is that they didn't see eye to eye. They didn't have the same vision. Apparently, the Marlins were talking to Nick Castellano before the lockout, and they were negotiating. And apparently, according to the sources and stuff, they told Jeter that he doesn't have that $10 to $15 million to spend anymore. That money is gone. Now, what is Jeter? Jeter is a guy who really, really just thrives on competition, and he wants to win. I mean, if it doesn't show during his baseball career what type of a person, what type of a personality he has, and then for these guys to just say, "Yeah, we're not going to spend the money." Now you're totally changing what you were planning on doing. You had the same vision, but now you don't. I applaud him for leaving.
Well, I mean, listen, and what you said about Jeter's competition is competitive nature. So true. Yeah. I mean, you sit there, you remember he came up at the same time as A-Rod and Nomar, and everybody said he was the third best. And Tejada was around, so some people said he was fourth best. And yet, by pure just energy and everything he did, he really became, really the best of the bunch. Maybe not statistically. Maybe, A-Rod's A-Rod. I'm not trying to take that away. Right. But overall, as a Yankee fan who had both of them, we were Jeter people. I mean, 100%. And it's not just because we won the championships with it, because of the little things he did to help us win the championships.
He was a likable guy.
Oh, he was a great player. He said nothing. Gave you no sound bites. Gave you absolutely nothing. Had the personality of a doorknob. But you know what? He came to play every night. Played hard. Did everything that was supposed to be done. The kind of baseball player you can rally around. That's why people like that team. Even if you hated the Yankees, you like that team because of guys like Jeter and Bernie, who couldn't even throw with the rotator cuff and all that. That was the passion. And for a guy like Jeter to be told, hey, listen, you can't go after Nick Castellanos for $15 million a year, which would be a steal for him, to be honest with you, off the year he had last year. It was just like, okay, so you're going to make me be a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. I can't compete with the Mets, who are going to spend through the nose. You know that the Phillies are spent already. You know that the Washington, even though they cleaned house last year, is just going to rebuild and go back up. Right. I mean, there's a lot of different, and the Braves are the World Series champs. So what's he supposed to do? Sit there and say, I like fifth. Yeah, and they're saying, no, you had to be the new Tampa Bay Rays, but that's not that easy.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he comes back somehow to the Yankees. I feel bad that he's out of the game, but he won't be out of the game long if he doesn't want to be.
You know what? The only controversy he really had is people were saying that he'd bring women into his lair. He would spend the evening with them, doing different activities, maybe playing a little Monopoly.
No, stuff like the Parcheesi.
Little Parcheesi. And then they would be sent home with a gift basket.
Very classy guy.
Very classy guy. But I wonder did he have like a gift basket? Okay. If they only orally pleasured him, he got this stuff. If he got anal, way
to kick it up a notch.
Like season tickets or something like that.
I think it's got to be a much better basket.
I would think so also.
I would have to think almost every girl said, Derek, do whatever you like. I think he had that kind. Everything that was never said to you and I,
right,
was probably said to Mr. Jeter. I'll just put it that way.
You know what? I think, and the best part probably when they said, do anything you like, he probably downgraded the basket then. She's all game. It's not like
this is nothing. I don't even have to give her a basket.
Right.
I'm going to give her a package of Altoids and send her on her way. Call it a day. Derek Jeter.
So anyway, Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter is now a free agent. Another thing that I wanted to bring up before we get to the our relievers. We're going to talk about the relievers, our top 10 relievers. Mm-hmm. And what do you guys? Who's doing a COVID test? Oh, Matt. He doesn't have COVID. He's got a cold. Stop it. There's a war going on in Ukraine. Omicron is gone. COVID doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, I know. So my son is going to start doing a podcast with his friend. He got pissed that I just stole his line. Anyway.
And there we are.
And there we are.
Okay, we'll edit that out. 2038. Let's go.
No, just leave it. It's natural. So I want to bring up Jerry's World, okay?
Who doesn't love Jerry Jones?
Who doesn't love Jerry Jones? Well, apparently one of his employees who just retired, what is his first name? Dalrymple was his last name. But he was in the front office, high up in the front office. And there were allegations by the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders that he sexually harassed them. And he also took pictures of them and video of them changing. Now,
class.
I'm not saying that you should have done it, but I understand. And
so you're saying I don't condone it. I understand it, but don't condone it.
Right. But no, I'm just trying to be funny. But Jerry Jones paid $2.4 million, gave it to the cheerleaders as a settlement. So this just goes away.
It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I mean, the fact of the matter is that the guy shouldn't have got to be able to retire. He should have been fired. Should have been told why he was fired. Should have been made an example of, because in this day and age, you really can't do that crap. Listen, in the 80s, in the 70s, they probably did this stuff all the time. It probably meant nothing. You chase the secretary around the desk, the whole thing. The life that we didn't have, but we heard about, right? Mm-hmm. But, but now in this day and age, it's like you can't pull that crap off. You can't. Right. The guy has to be made an example of. You got to make it where he gets punished. Not that the owner covers for him and makes a $2.4 million settlement with the girls.
Right.
I mean, it's messed up, especially with social media now, and you can share every picture everywhere. And you didn't do anything wrong. You're working. You're getting changed at work, and so you're on the internet.
And it's not like they're the Jackson Jaguar cheerleaders that nobody likes. These are the iconic Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. They were on the Love Boat, bro.
They were big. There's a series about them making the team, the whole freaking to do. These girls they're the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
In a profession that is now somewhat frowned upon, these girls still make it great.
Exactly.
It's just ridiculous. I don't know. Jerry's just, Jerry.
Yeah, here's Jerry's comment today. First of all, the cheerleaders are iconic, a vital part of what our organization is. We took these allegations very seriously. We immediately began an investigation into the situation. I can assure you that we found that it need be, there would have been firings or there would have been suspensions. As it turns out, in the best interest of our cheerleaders and the interest of our organization, in the best interest of our fans, what we decided to do is show the cheerleaders how seriously we took these allegations and wanted them to know that we were real serious. And so the settlement was the way to go. Basically, what you did is you just called them high-priced hookers.
Pretty much.
High-priced call girls.
I mean, we took it seriously. We took it under account and decided, well, let the other guy retire and we'll give you some money. That doesn't mean anything to me, because $2.4 million to me is like me and you dropping $100 on the floor.
Right.
And what we'll do is we'll give them a little money so that they shut up.
Well, the guy who did it, he gave a statement as well. He said, people who know me, coworkers and media and colleagues, know who I am and what I'm about. I understand the very serious nature of these claims and do not take them lightly. The accusations are, however, false. One was accidental and the other simply did not happen. Oh, I accidentally started my camera when you were taking off.
I didn't mean to take a picture of you naked. It just turned on like that.
Yeah, but he says they did the investigation. He cooperated fully, and he vehemently denies everything. Rich Dalrymple. And,
Dickie Dalrymple, huh?
It's just like the captain of the Costa Concordia.
Oh,
The boat tipped, and I accidentally fell into one of the lifeboats that was heading in, so I was able to leave.
A guy named Dick Dalrymple doing this shit. Get out of here. Enough.
So
before we get into closures, I want to just touch on a little college hoop because we had a little heated discussion last week about it.
Right.
And with Greg Gard and Jawan Howard
But actually, first off, I want to thank everybody who commented on Facebook with what they thought, because we have the Fantasy Fat Guys Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when I mean everybody, I'd like to say nobody.
Yeah,
come on, guys.
People were all over it.
Yeah,
I did get a couple of phone calls from people to talk about it, but nobody posted anything.
Let us know what you think about, what we were talking about with the baseball and stuff. But we want to read your point of view, see what you have to say about it. Maybe we're totally stupid.
And we will give you, we'll talk about you by name because that's who we are. We're those kind of people. Yeah,
we're not giving you, we will give you the anal basket. No doubt about it.
You're the worst. So last week, it was obviously a fight between Michigan and Wisconsin.
Right.
So they were grilling the Michigan State coach, Tom Izzo, who, by the way, tied Bobby Knight for the most wins all time of any Big Ten coach. So Izzo's been around a long time. He's won national championships, great coach. And he didn't want to get involved. And you don't blame him. Mm-hmm. And then one of the reporters came up and said, well, there are reports now that maybe people are talking about that we should cancel the handshake line after the game. To which Izzo kind of jumped. He goes, this I will take exception to because I do not, this will not offend any one team or anybody in particular. He basically went on a rant saying that we take these 18-year-old kids and we tell them, hey, if you don't want to go to class, you don't have to. And if you don't want to, if you don't like, that job or whatever it is you're doing, you don't have to do it. And we give them no responsibility and we teach these kids nothing.
Right.
But if we can't go and force these kids to be men and shake the hand of a guy that beat your butt for the last 2 hours and show the respect and the courtesy it takes to go across that court and shake the hand of the guy that outplayed you today, then we're teaching them absolutely nothing. And I couldn't agree more with that. I mean, listen, we all did it in Little League and, you shook hands and say, nice game. The other guy says, yeah, right, because you beat him or whatever. But you know what? But you still learn sportsmanship. Now they want to take away sportsmanship because people are offended. It's getting ridiculous.
It really is. I tell you, one of the things when I used to coach, you were not allowed to yell, oh, pitcher stinks, or anything like that. You were not allowed to yell, drop the ball, or I went crazy on the kids. It was stuff like that. I wanted them to respect the game and respect the other team and stuff like that. And unfortunately, not a lot of people do that anymore. And these kids, that's why kids are such assholes nowadays.
Yeah, they are not, they're not reared the right way. I'll tell you a story that happened to me as a kid. And I was I think 9 and I got hit by a pitch in the shoulder and it deflected and hit my elbow. And it really hurt. It hit me in a weird spot. And I started to cry, tear up a little bit.
Bitch.
And I remember my father, instead of the coach, walking me to first base, saying, if you don't stop crying, I'm going to fucking take you off this field right now. You're not embarrassing me out here. I was like, Dad, it hurts. He goes, it doesn't hurt. Walk to first. I mean, again, it was a different time, and, it was a different way it was. But I bring up the story. I think it's funny. I'm not mad at my dad. I wasn't mad at my dad then. I just remember thinking he's right.
Yeah.
It hurts. Get over it.
Like you said,
rub some dirt on it. Call it a day.
It was a totally different time. So
exactly.
Things were different.
But your father was never your friend, and your father was never afraid of you. It was a different game. Your father's like, yeah, I'll just take you out in a second. Whether you're 8 or you're 18, your father was like, yeah, you're older. I respect you a little bit, but you're still a mess up, and I'll still knock you off your ass in a heartbeat. Just the way the game was played, just the way we were spoken to back then. But I'll never forget that moment because I was just like, and I had never cried in a game or anything like that for losing or anything like that. This one actually really hurt me, and I was in pain. And he was pissed that I teared up. Just a totally different thing. But after every game, whether I made 4 errors or we won by 10 runs, you shook hands with the other team. Whether I played basketball, whether I played baseball, whether it was track, you shook hands with the other runners. Anything that you played in, I
You
didn't
ran
play
track?
football, so I can't speak to it. But
You ran
but the
track?
other sports, I ran track. You wouldn't know it now, but yeah, I was actually pretty good. When I was younger, anyway.
What'd you do? Run the 500 Big Mac dash?